Welcome my friends in the Force to the Outer Rim Vault. This holo recording will be somewhat different than what is usually discussed here on the channel, as we dive deep into our records time and time again in the past to recount numerous tales found in both our Canon and Legends universe. For this particular Vault recording, I wanted to explore some of the technological advancements that have been made when creating some of our own starships that allow us to travel into the stars, and list some of my personal favorite starships from our galaxy far, far away, best suited for travel across the stars. This list will be in no particular order, as they are only based on my personal favorites, along with listing their specs and modifications to better improve the overall quality and performance, as well as modifications suited for engaging in dogfights and space warfare. And now, fellow beings in the Force, without anything further to add, let's dive deep into our records and discover the top 6 best starships from our Star Wars galaxy. Number 6. The Minarch. Initially starting off as a Helot-class medium space transport, the Minarch was piloted by the Jedi-turned-hunter Cade Skywalker during the Sith Imperial crisis in 137 ABY. The original was built at an unspecified date by Cade's uncle Nat Skywalker. During its time, the ship was also modified extensively by the female Zeltron Delia Blue, who grew close to Cade during many of their adventures together. Many rumors had surfaced among a few spaceports that stated that nothing from the Minarch's original design was present in the ship's current heavily modified state. Modifications included sublight engines, enhanced armor, weapons, and even a hyperdrive for jump space. This iteration of the Helot-class transport also came installed with shield generators for additional protection, an addition that would be otherwise missing from the ship's original design. As far as the weapon systems go, the Minarch was equipped with 2 medium laser cannons on each side of the bridge module, a turret assembly on its ventral side that carried an additional heavy laser cannon that retracted into the ship when not in use, and 1 quad laser located on the tail end module. Additionally, the Minarch was known to have enough space to carry at least 3 full starfighters inside their hold. Overall, the Minarch, though initially meant to be a basic means of transportation across the galaxy, the ship produced would end up outflying most starfighters in terms of speed, while simultaneously possessing the firepower and defenses of a Corellian corvette. The Minarch, though a common type of starship, the extensive modification that had been done had transformed the ship into one of its kind. Number 5. The Marauder. Primarily active during the era of the Clone Wars, this modified Omicron-class attack shuttle was piloted by the experimental clone unit Clone Force 99 for most of their participation during the war. Armed with 2 front laser cannons and an AFT laser turret located on the rear of the ship, the Marauder was also equipped with sublight engines and a hyperdrive. This starship was an overall battle standard for most of the beings or any pilot who participated in the Clone Wars. However, this particular modified shuttle would serve the Bad Batch well in many of their adventures, and it was known to be quite a fast ship that handled beautifully on the skies as well as the vacuum of space. Number 4. The Jedi Interceptor. Though the term Jedi Interceptor was not its official designation, the Delta-class interceptors had gone through several iterations during its time due to its high demand, mainly from the Jedi Order during the Clone Wars. The ship's design was constructed by a human male who went by the name of Wallix Blissex, a doctor in his own right. Blissex also had a hand in the design of many warships, ranging from small starfighters to massive warships. The first model was designed as a Delta-6 Sprite-class starfighter. This line was manufactured by Quad Systems Engineering and was mainly utilized by the Jedi Order throughout the Naboo crisis in 32 BBY. The Delta-6 line was discontinued by Quad Systems once they unveiled the Delta-7 Aether Sprite-class interceptor prior to the start of the Clone Wars. Both models were equipped with dual laser cannons and maintained their triangular-shaped design. However, the Delta-7 model had been retrofitted to incorporate the use of an astromech droid for navigation assistance, something that the Delta-6 model had lacked. The Delta interceptors were also known to not be equipped with shield generators for protection, as the ship's overall design limited the space for this type of modification to be installed. Also, this could have been intentional, as these vessels were mainly piloted by Jedi who relied on their use of the Force to dodge and evade any incoming attacks. These interceptors also came with hyperspace docking rings, as these interceptors themselves did not come with a hyperdrive. Overall, these fighters came with Force and were just as lethal as the Force wielders who piloted them. Number 3. The Slave One. This heavily modified Firespray 31 class patrol attack craft was piloted by the bounty hunter and Mandalorian warrior Jango Fett before the start of the Clone Wars. After Jango's passing at the hands of Windu during the first Battle of Geonosis, the ship briefly came into the possession of Fett's former associate Aurra Sing, though briefly, as ownership later came into the hands of the pirate Hondo Ohnaka, who had also known Jango before his passing, until his son Boba Fett took the ship back prior to the fall of the Republic in 19 BBY, and would be continued to be used by Fett throughout the Galactic Empire's reign. The Firespray gunship's original design was produced by the company of Quad Drive Yards, connecting its manufacturer to Quad Systems Engineering, which would be the branch directly responsible for the creation of the Delta-class interceptors used by the Jedi. Modifications for the Slave One had greatly increased the ship's overall endurance and capabilities. In fact, the only thing that remained of the ship's original design were the tailed blaster cannons, and even these were modified by Jango in order for the cannons to fire with greater precision. Once the ship came into the possession of Boba, the younger Fett then added modifications of his own to the already heavily modified ship. These included heavy-duty shield generators for greater protection, new weapon systems including proton torpedoes, heat-seeking missiles, and seismic charges, along with sensors. In addition, another military-grade sensor was installed with the capability to both mask the ship's signature as well as jam any transmissions within the vicinity of the ship. The Slave One was made into an overwhelming tank of weaponry, capable of going against other heavily modified ships, making it a near unstoppable force. Also, due to the ship's design and later modifications installed, some of the weapon systems aboard the Slave One were able to be hidden away within the ship itself, making Slave One appear less armed than what it actually is. Number 2. The Raven's Claw. Known to be just a light courier class starship mainly used for cargo delivery, the ship that would be eventually named the Raven's Claw was primarily piloted by Kyle Katarn and Jan Ors during most of the New Republic's rise back into the galaxy. Originally a replacement for Katarn's old ship, the Moldy Crew, after it was lost after it crashed on the planet of Ruusan in the battle with the Dark Jedi Jarek during the Valley of the Jedi incident in 5 ABY. Nothing out of the ordinary for this light courier, other than having a few armaments in laser cannons and 2 proton torpedo launchers. Although the ship was primarily built for speed rather than combat, any capable pilot and co-pilot would be more than able to make do with what this light courier already provides. And number 1. The Millennium Falcon. Manufactured by the Corellian Engineering Corporation, the iconic starship that was formerly known as the Stellar Envoy was originally designed as a Corellian YT-1300 light freighter and was officially constructed in 60 BBY. The ship gained its legendary status through its ownership. The Falcon was first discovered to be in the possession of the smuggler Lando Calrissian, where the ship had gained several modifications in terms of both luxury and convenience, which included a painted exterior and an escape pod located in the nose of the ship. However, much of these installments were lost once the smuggler and later rebel hero Han Solo took possession of the ship from Lando after winning the Falcon from him during a game of sabacc. The ship had already gained much recognition after making its record-breaking Kessel run in just 12 parsecs. This would also mark the first time Han ever piloted the freighter. After this run was completed, much of the cosmetic modifications were lost due to the severe beating the Falcon took during the mission, which also revealed to us how the Millennium Falcon's only escape pod was lost. As the Falcon aged, the ship was still kept in optimal condition, as several modifications were added to improve the ship's speed, weapons, and shields, topped with a hyperdrive that was regarded as being the fastest among the galaxy, capable of outrunning entire Star Destroyers. Though the ship was made famous due to being piloted by the rebel heroes Han Solo and Chewbacca, the Falcon remains easily one of the most recognized and iconic ships in the Star Wars galaxy. I hope you all enjoyed this vault recording, my friends. I thought this would be a fun overall discussion and listing, as it is among the first ever done on the channel, with plans for similar content later down the road. If you all enjoyed this recording, leave a like and comment down below what your favorite Star Wars ship is. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. Be safe and may the Force be with you, and hopefully we will meet again during another recording of the Outer Rim Vault.